Torazai. Kia hiwara, kia hiwara. Kia hiwara e tēnei tuku. Kia hiwara e tērā tuku. Kia hiwara tihei mauri ora. Ko papa tūnuku e tako tōnei. Ko rangi nui e tūho nei, tēnā kōrua. I ngā haukainga ko Ngāti Toa Rangatira. A karanga mai e te tangata whenua. Karanga mai I rongi te kaupapa o te rā. A karanga mai rā. I ngā mata waka, I ngā kaimanaki o te rohi nei. Koutou kua tai mai nei ki te hāpai te kaupapa o te rā nei. Nau mai, haere mai, whakatau mai rā. Ko te kaupapa o te hui nei, ko te wai. Ko te wai ora, ko te wai Māori, ko te wai tai, ko te wai kino, ko te wai mati, ko te wai tapu. E ai ki ngā tupuna ko te wai, te ora o ngā mea katoa. Ko te wero o te wā nei, te whakaori te wai Māori. Nā reira ka whakaori te wai tai, ara ko te aurua o Porirua. A toitū te whenua, a toitū te wai, toitū te tangata, a toitū te aurua o Porirua. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. That was mihi first to the organisers of today. Thank you for organising this event. Secondly to Ngāti Toa, a big mihi for guiding us and hosting us here today on this beautiful marae. And then most of all, thank you to all you volunteers who are here for the love, not for the money, and doing such important work. And as one of the speakers earlier on today said, he kaupapa rangatira, he kaupapa taumaha. We've already been introduced, so here's just a quick roundup. Te Awarua Porirua constitutes two harbours, Onipoto and Pauatahanui, a total of 807 hectares. On average, the depth is 1 metre. Of particular interest is the residence time of water in the harbour, which is 3 days. Because it's such a long period, it allows a lot of sediment to settle in the harbour and not be flushed out to sea, which is one of the reasons that we have some of the issues we're having. Of the 807 hectares, there's 287 hectares of intertidal mudflats and 59 hectares of seagrass remain. 400 million cockles filter 1/3 of the water flow every day. We have the highest density of roading adjacent to any estuary in New Zealand. The Te Awarua Porirua catchment is made up of 7 sub-catchments, totalling 17,700 hectares. The catchment contains 290 kilometres of first order streams and is the largest estuary in the lower North Island. There are a multitude of issues that have contributed to the health of the harbour. One of the biggest factors is that the equivalent of 7,000 10-tonne trucks of sediment have entered Porirua Harbour each for the last 5 years. This has resulted in significant and ongoing environmental and ecological degradation of Te Awarua or Porirua Harbour. The harbours our harbours are at a tipping point. What are we doing about this? In 2021, Porirua City Council, in partnership with Ngāti Toa Rangatira, was successful in a funding application to the Ministry for the Environment to undertake extensive riparian planting within the Porirua Harbour catchment, with the primary purpose of reducing sediment inflows. The program is about getting plants in the ground, 627,000 plants in the first 5 years. We're now coming to the end of year 2. And possibly many more if further funding is provided. But of equal importance through this program is the opportunity to engage and empower our catchment communities into taking environmental action, and by working alongside iwi to restore the health of waterways and harbours, enable them to reclaim their relationships and customary practices with these taonga. The funding deed has 4 main objectives. Planting, I've already talked about. Community and schools engagement. A mātauranga Māori monitoring and cultural health framework that is regularly reported on, and a monitoring framework that incorporates citizen science. I'll let Baillie talk a bit about that.
So the riparian management program, the aim is to engage schools and communities through raising awareness of the issues that are facing our harbours and our streams. Our community and schools will become engaged and empowered to take positive action. So the aim for schools is to commence or maintain a sustainable relationship with one or more of their local streams. Through ongoing activities like water monitoring, bird counting, planting trees, students will develop ownership of the local streams and be able to witness and experience the positive environmental changes that result from their actions. So the dream is that by bringing together and supporting our communities, particularly our volunteer groups and schools, the knowledge and passion will be passed to future generations to enable them to become tomorrow's kaitiaki.
Another important deliverable of this program is that that we support mātauranga Māori, that we support Ngāti Toa to bring mātauranga Māori into to be a part of this program. Ngāti Toa in their iwi environmental management plan introduction, He Kākano, state their primary aspiration is to nurture a resilient environment to sustain future generations. With support from this program and working with Luke and his team, they will identify a sites and indicators monitoring framework that reflects te ao Māori freshwater values. Kaitiaki monitoring to measure these indicators will help to inform planning standards, monitor resource consents and collect data to record changes. In addition to that, a mātauranga Māori monitoring and cultural health framework coupled with Western science indicators and data will provide a more holistic picture of the state of our harbours, of our taonga.
So another aspect of the funding dean is looking at the citizen science. So citizen science is scientific research that's conducted by members of the public who generally don't have scientific training or background. So the objectives for us for our citizen science program is to gather data to determine the current state of water quality and biodiversity values in the streams and waterways that are entering Te Awaroa Porirua, to detect trends and changes in water quality and biodiversity values over time, and to also engage and collaborate with the Porirua community. So activating the citizen science program is providing accurate information and data, but it's also sharing that story of the stream and the land restoration actions. It generates conversation on how actions are impacting the environment, and is beneficial to apply science and knowledge in the role as kaitiaki of the land and water. It's an opportunity for community members to be actively involved in mitigating the effects, reducing sediment, and again taking their ownership and responsibility for caring for the streams and land. So we'll support our citizen scientists by giving excellent training, providing feedback on their data, sharing results within the wider community, developing an online community, fostering local leadership, and building wide networks to combine strengths and resources. So the citizen science monitoring will enable us to build community engagement with our streams and harbours, and again raising awareness of the issues. Through schools engagement, it will enable our young people to be part of the solution for reversing decline in our waterways. It will provide the opportunity to upskill our volunteers. It will contribute to the big picture view of the state of our waterways and provide a picture of the change over the long term. It will also contribute to the State of Environment Report Card 2026, which will provide us a holistic view of the state of our waterways. And it will also, citizen science and the data collected will also help support further funding applications for these kind of initiatives. With our training, our citizen science volunteers can monitor many of the indicators here on the screen. Our quarterly monitoring will be monitored through our citizen science volunteers. We will be conducting our annual monitoring, and there's also opportunity for additional monitoring to be going on with groups for sites of things that they might be interested in. There's also interactive tools and technology that we can use and are developing to make this monitoring happen and provide the bigger picture and support to the whole catchment approach. So we are creating interactive GIS maps with layers to display information for the public to see. We're using apps, devices and portable technology to record data in the field. We're using data loggers to continuously provide data, and we're also using support and guidance from NIWA and ArcGIS.
So riparian planning is not the fix-all. It's not going to fix all the issues affecting our harbours. This will require a collaborative approach and buy-in from our communities. Other areas that have been identified for focus are listed here and include a cross-council approach and working together with all sectors of the community. Working with Ngāti Toa to help them achieve their aspirations, targeting long-term sources of pollution. These are the big ticket items like fixing infrastructure. They won't happen in the short term, they'll happen over the long term and they'll require millions of dollars. A bigger focus on the polluters, making, through the consenting and monitoring process, making it harder for them. Using water sensitive design when we're planning new communities, and engaging our communities to be part of the solution, improving policies and plans, and advocating at all levels. The riparian management program is up and running with plants going in the ground. 90,000 last year, 110,000 this year, and 165,000 next year. Our communities and schools are engaged with this program. Citizen science delivered by volunteers like yourselves will help to further engage our community, inform our practices, measure our progress, and help secure further funding in the future. Ngā mihi ki a koutou katoa.
Kia ora.